TK students. Today is going to be our last day spent on trees and leaves, and then we're going to start learning about some new things. But I want to do just a little summary, a review of the things that we've learned so far. So this part of the tree that's in the ground is called the roots. You're right, it's the roots. Roots. And the roots have two jobs. Their first job is to keep their tree in the ground and anchored so it doesn't get blown over by a big wind. The roots also drink up the water from the soil. Now, this main part of the tree is called the trunk. You're right, it's the trunk. And the trunk is also the stem of the plant. It's just a really big stem. Now, off of the main trunk are branches. You're right, branches. And branches are like the arms of the tree that come off of the main trunk. Then there's something that's very important on the tree. It's these green things, and they are the leaves. You're right, it's the leaves. And the leaves make food for the tree. Do you remember that little song I taught you about the parts of the tree? Let's sing it together. I just want to remind you of the words. It goes roots, stem, and leaves, and leaves. Roots, stem, and leaves, and leaves. Roots drink up water, stem stands up tall. Leaves make food for them all, for them all. Let's sing it together. Are you ready? Stand up. Here we go. Roots, stem, and leaves, and leaves. Roots, stem, and leaves, and leaves. Roots drink up water, stem stands up tall. Leaves make food for them all, for them all. Hey, let's do it a little faster. Are you ready? Roots, stem, and leaves, and leaves. Roots, stem, and leaves, and leaves. Roots drink up water, stem stands up tall. Leaves make food for them all, for them all. Oh, great job! Before we finish with trees, I think we should go back out and take a look at the apple tree in the playground and see how it's doing. TK students, I'm back out at the playground and taking another look at our apple tree. So it is almost the end of October. It's just before Halloween, and I'm just taking a look at the apple tree, and it still looks pretty good. I see some beautiful green leaves. The green leaves make food for the tree. I see some little tiny branches, some small twigs that come off of the main branch. I see the big branches that come up from the trunk. I see the bark of the tree. Beautiful tree. So here is our tree. It's the almost Halloween. It's the end of October. And it's still got green leaves on it. I am starting to see, though, more leaves on the ground around the tree. And do you see some of those leaves are turning brown? So I'm wondering if this tree might lose its leaves. It might be a deciduous tree and lose its leaves in the winter. All right, we're going to keep touching base. We'll come back and see you in about a month, you wonderful apple tree in the playground. I want to show you another tree that's on the playground at school. This is on the big playground for the 1st through 5th grade students. And this tree is starting to look different. The leaves on the tree are all starting to turn brown. And I think I have seen a few leaves fall off of this tree. So I'm going to keep my eyes on this tree too, because I think that this tree is going to lose all of its leaves. And then the tree will take a big snooze, a sleep, kind of like a bear hibernates. A tree will sleep and rest during the winter. A funny thing about being in Los Angeles, where we don't really have much of a cold winter, we don't get snow, but one of the funny things is that sometimes things bloom more in the winter than in the summer. In the summer, it's usually very hot and dry in Los Angeles. And so a time where plants get more water is in the winter, in the fall and the winter. And so those trees will bloom and really look beautiful. And this is an example of a tree that blooms in the fall and then will go to sleep for the winter. So can you please get your science notebooks, and I want you to turn to the page after the one where we did the big and little, how are leaves different? And there's a blank page there. And what I did is I drew another picture of a tree, and you notice that I put a little bit more yellow up in the leaves. And I labeled my picture. The part that's in the ground are the roots. The main stem of the tree is the trunk. There are some branches that come off the trunk. And there are leaves that make food for the tree. And then I wrote, leaves change color. Now, you don't have to write leaves change color, but if you would like to, it would be a great thing to do. Now, boys and girls, one of the interesting things about leaves and how they change color, those colors are always there. Even when this tree is green and the leaves are green, the yellow and the brown colors are always there. But because the green is so bright, it covers up the yellow. Only when the tree starts to take a snooze for the winter, tries to hibernate, does the green color start to go away. And when the green color in the leaves go away, we get to see the yellow and the red and the brown and the other colors that have always been there. Anyway, I have loved learning about trees with you. We're still going to pay attention to our apple tree this whole year. I'm going to go every month and take a peek at our apple tree. But we are going to start learning about some other materials too. Next week, we're going to get to open your new science bag. All right, see you next week, Cougars.